Fight fam, what's good? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today we're going to talk about Tank Davis and his potential next few opponents coming up as he's coasting from his recent victory over King Ryan Garcia in a much anticipated matchup on April 22nd. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate your feedback. All right, y'all, let's get into it. So Gervonta Davis is coming off in a sensational win where he stopped Ryan Garcia in the 7th round with a body shot to the liver. Many people feel like Ryan Garcia quit. However, as someone who's experienced a body shot or two in his day, that shit hurts. So I'm never going to question the fighter's will in the ring, especially in the situation where I'm familiar with the type of punch. And I've never been hit by Gervonta Davis. So I'm sure that Ryan was feeling some different things that he never felt before, and Tank took him out for the 10 count. Now, looking forward, the first thing that everybody wants to know after the fight, and sometimes even before the fight, you heard this conversation, what happens when Tank Davis gets past Ryan Garcia? So a lot of important names in and around 135 have been thrown around, and you've seen people talk about number one, Devin Haney, because he is the undisputed champion at 135 pounds. He's got all 4 of the major belts in the weight class. So he's the guy that everybody should be targeting. Whether he's a money man or not is irrelevant to the fact that he is the undisputed champion in the class. So he's at the top of the mountain. Just below him is going to be your Gervonta Davis and several other boxers who have put themselves into contender status, with Gervonta actually holding the secondary belt, the regular WBA championship, which in most regards is supposed to be for the guy to handle the mandatory fights, while the super champion of the WBA, in this case Devin Haney, will go ahead and move around and try to make big marquee fights in and around the division. So now that you've kind of seen things kind of come into focus and clear up, Devin Haney has a fight on May 20th. So that's going to clarify some additional things, because he's going to be facing another top lightweight in Vasyl Lomachenko. And you just had Shakur Stevenson, who's new to the division, get a win just a few weeks ago on ESPN+. So when you start to do the process of elimination, in about 20 days or so, about 25 days from now, everybody that is a player at 135 that's considered the top of the class will have fought, right? So you start to look at, okay, if Gervonta Davis is trying to get back into the ring, let's say around August, everybody that has been named so far should be available. Shakur will have already been 3 months removed, plus Devin Haney will already be at the 3-month mark. So that means that he could fight either one of those people. Now, for argument's sake, let's start with Devin Haney, why it's important that this is the next matchup if they can make it happen. At this given time, Gervonta Davis is somewhat of a free agent from a promotional standpoint, so he can make things happen, but the fight's likely going to have to be shown on Showtime, because now it seems like he has an exclusive deal with them. He doesn't appear to be necessarily connected in the same way to Mayweather Promotions, so he has some flexibility and also has some leverage due to his recent pay-per-view sales. On the other hand, Devin Haney has been operating like a free agent over the last few years, moving around and accepting deals that are financially smart, but also give him an opportunity to get the fights that he actually wants to take on. Namely, he was able to sign a deal with ESPN Plus, with Top Rank, and he was able to not only challenge George Kambosos for the lightweight title in Undisputed, but he was also able to fight him a second time as part of a rematch clause included in that contract. A third fight was also included. This is rumor, but apparently a third fight was included, and that turned out to be Vasyl Lomachenko, while many thought it might be Shakur Stevenson or some other lightweight at Top Rank. So Devin has shown that his team is savvy enough to get him into the right deals. Now, my understanding is that that deal has expired when this fight happens with Vasyl Lomachenko. I'm not aware of any specific rematch clauses that will require a 4th fight with Top Rank for him. So what that means to me is if he's able to take care of business, and in my opinion, win, lose, or draw, I want to see him fight Tank next, and then maybe circle back to Lomachenko if he isn't to win that fight. But my ideal matchup for him late August, early September is going to be Devin Haney and Tank. That's what I'm looking to see. I want to see those guys get in the ring and make it happen. I guess in the infamous words of Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice, let's fight. I can agree with him on that. While I do favor Tank in that particular fight, I also believe that Devin Haney is a worthy opponent and they should get in there and settle it with the 2 gloves on their fist, right? Now, if you can't get that fight to happen because Devin Haney has some other contractual agreements, or for some reason there's something that we can't see right now blocking the fight, then maybe we need to see what can happen with Shakur Stevenson, right? And I think there's more to get in the way of a Shakur fight than a Devin fight. So on paper, here's how it looks. It seems like Shakur's in a prime position to fight Devin more so than he is Tank. And it seems like Devin is in a more prime position to pick whoever he wants. And I think that the Tank fight will be more appealing. So in my mind, Devin Haney is in the driver's seat in terms of picking if he and Tank will get in the ring next, because he's in line where he could fight Shakur if he wants. And I think Bob Arum will make that happen if they choose to do so. But he's also in line to walk away and say, nah, I'm going to go over here and get this Tank bag and I'm going to try to beat his ass at the same time. And we'll see how it goes, and maybe even put in a multi-fight deal on the other side, which seems to have been really beneficial, because I think a Devin Haney Tank matchup will make some money too. It may not do Ryan Tank money, but it'll definitely do some real numbers, especially if they start to build a fight, because there's already been animosity between the teams. The fighters haven't really egged it on yet, but I think if there's black and white saying they're going to tangle and they're going to rumble, I think then you're going to get that back and forth. So I feel like it's very appealing for Devin to do it, even though he's kind of got an easy street either way he wants to go. He can stay with Top Rank and get Shakur, or he can go see Tank, and I think he needs to do that. Now, because I believe Shakur is such a long shot due to promotional ties, I kind of knock him down a few notches, as he's the one guy, honestly, I feel like could probably beat Tank just straight up and down. And I think if they had to fight 3 times, I probably would give Shakur 2 out of 3. If they had to fight 5 times, I give him 3 out of 5. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's the longest shot in reality to happen. So I just don't see that going down for boxing, especially in 2023. And I don't think Bob Arum is willing to shoot that shot with Shakur, even though he thinks he might win. I think he might want to just marinate that a little bit longer and maybe try to get Shakur in there with Devin and have him come in as a champion to have more leverage against Tank. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. A couple other options that are out there within the weight class. There's always the rematch with Pitbull, which I'm not excited about, but Coach Calvin Ford seems to think that's something they want to do. He feels like it's unfinished business, and I can respect it. Just, I don't care about it, to be honest. You don't need to finish that business. He beat that man with one hand. That's all I need to see. This is like a Ryan Garcia rematch. I don't need to see that no time soon. Them guys need to go do something important before I want to see them fight Tank again. You've also got Frank Martin in the division. Now, that's a fight I really want to see, because I think while Frank could give him some smoke, I still think that Tank is a level above. However, I still want to see him fight. I want to see them get in the ring and go toe-to-toe. So I think that will make a big splash. I don't know that it sells more than like $500,000, but I think it will be a good fight because they could build it up. And you've got a good promoter, Errol Spence, who's going to do what he can to position Frank Martin. And I think that's something you can make by the end of the year because of the PBC Showtime affiliation of both fighters. Outside the weight class, you've got Teofimo Lopez, who's got a tangle coming up with Josh Taylor. Win, lose, or draw. Might be a good fight, but I got Tank over Teo. Now, the other fight is going to be Regis Prograis. Now, that one is a lot easier to make than people think, because all Regis got to do is go over there Showtime to sign. And I think if he was willing to sign a multi-fight deal just in case he beats Tank, he could actually make a really good bag. He can guarantee his check ain't going to bounce on Monday or Tuesday, and he's going to make a lot of money because that pay-per-view going to sell like a mofo. So I wouldn't mind seeing that next, but it's not the fight I want next. I want Tank and Devin next, but if I can't get that and I can't get him in there with Shakur, I'm okay with Frank Martin or Regis Prograis, and then as a side, Teofimo Lopez later this year. Now, I've said this, I'm on record saying that I think Tank could get 4 fights this year. If you give him a semi-light touch, another also ran at lightweight sometime late summer, and then you have him come back in December and fight one of the top guys like Devin or something like that, or Frank, then that would be a hell of a year and a hell of a 24-month run for Tank Davis, because that would be like 6 fights in 24 months, and that's just unheard of for a championship level fighter. So that's kind of what I'm thinking to happen. Would love to get your thoughts. This has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Until next time, peace out, fight fam. Love y'all.